This is your last chance to get it right before thousands of dollars are on the line. Hi, my name is Giovanna. I am the owner of Bekka, and I am taking you along the journey of what it looks like to get your product from a thought in your head to a physical product that you can use. Here is the manufacturing journey. Make sure you press the subscribe button so that you can follow along the journey, and don't forget to like this video. Now, before I get into this might be a 3-part series. We're going to see. But if it is, make sure you come by next week to check out what's next. Before I started my manufacturing journey, I thought the hard part was the actual bag going into production and getting the sample made. All of this other stuff, the decisions that have to be made and everything leading up to production is actually like, whoa, this is a lot. That felt like the heavy lift, but I don't think it was. There's a moment in this process that most people are not prepared for, and that's the moment right before production. When your manufacturer is waiting for you to confirm every detail, and once they say go, that's in. You are locked in and it is ready to go into production. There are some decisions that have to be made before production can begin. Get them right and you're in for smooth selling. Get them wrong and you might be facing unhappy customers, delays, and a product that you can't even see. Over this series, I'm going to walk you through what those decisions look like. You know exactly what to expect and what to lock down before the clock starts ticking. We're going to go ahead and call this part 1 because I don't want to keep you for long periods of time. But this part right here, this is locking in the design. These are the foundational designs, the ones that touch every single unit that gets produced. Let's get into it. Finalizing design changes with your manufacturer. So you gave your manufacturer your sketch, your drawing, your tech back, whatever have you, or your physical product, and they took all of your feedback, all of your changes, all of your thoughts and ideas, put it into a product and gave you the sample. Now you've looked at the sample, you've okayed it, you signed off on it, and you are ready to go into production. As you're finalizing the design changes and everything, like for me, when I had my first sample made, everything to me was like perfect. It was perfect right off. And then as I began to carry it, there was one thing that kind of bothered me about the bag, and that was how it indented on, like at the top over the flap. There was like an indentation that kind of just went there and stayed there. Other than that, I absolutely love the bag. So when I sent the bag out to the manufacturer, I let them know, I said, hey, everything's perfect. I really don't have any changes. And let me tell you, let me say this first. This was for me carrying the bag for months and months and months on end. I highly, highly, highly recommend that when you get a product, you test it out. Test it out. See how it wears. See how it functions. See how you're able to use it in different various ways. So for my bag, it comes with 2 straps. It comes with the short shoulder strap and then the long adjustable crossbody strap. So I carried it as a little small shoulder strap. I carried it as a long crossbody strap. I wanted to see how it functions. If I'm in the store and I need to just reach into the back pocket, can I do that seamlessly? How is it going in and out of the bag when it's on my shoulder? Do I have to always take it off to get into the bag? Various ways I tested the bag to make sure that it fit my everyday life, fit me moving to and from and going about, to make sure that it was easy. You want to make sure that your product is functional as well as it looks great. That is very important to me. So I needed to test it out for months and months to make sure that it was good. And I found that that top flap just had like this weird little indent. And I was like, what is this indentation? So I took that feedback to my manufacturer and I said, I am ready to go into production. However, let's figure out this. Do we need to make it shorter? Does it need to be a little tighter to the bag? Is this going to fix this indentation so that it doesn't have there? I just feel like it's just excess leather at the top, and that's what's causing it. So she said, I'm gonna take it to the pattern maker. We're gonna figure this out before we go into production. So now that we got that out the way, let's lock in these colorways. Now, as we're getting into colorway, you want to find out how many different color options you can have with your manufacturer in comparison with how many units how many pieces that you're going to get made. So depending on what their lowest amount is that they will allow you to go into manufacturing. So some places will do 30, some will do 50, some will do 100. It really depends on your manufacturer. But if you're doing the lowest amount, you want to see if you're only going to do like 50 bags, are they going to allow you to do 3 different colors, or is it 4, or is it 5? So you want to have this conversation with them as you're choosing your colorways. If you haven't already, you want to think about what's going to sell. You want to think about what your customers are in need of. And it's okay to only put out 5 if your manufacturer will allow, 5 or 10 of one color if you're starting small, because you want those colors to sell out. You don't want to be stuck with a whole bunch of bags that people are like, I don't like that color, it's not the right time for that season, or anything like that. You want to make sure those colors are going to sell. It's always safe to do a classic color if you're not sure. And it's okay if you want to do a whole line of maybe 3 colors. There's absolutely wrong with that. And if you want to do 1 pop of color and 2 classic colors within that, that is totally fine. Because let me tell you, people will always buy a black and a brown bag. Always. So as you think about colorways, you want to think about the leather that you have to get to match it. You want to think about how it looks together as a collection. Are the colors cohesive? Do they complement one another? Think about these. Think about how many you want to do, because some manufacturers, you can, let's say you're going to start with 30 bags, okay? And let's say you're going to do 3 colors, but maybe you want 20 of one and 5 of the other and 5 of the other. You got to see if they're going to let you do that. Or if you want to start with 50 and you want to do 25 of one and then, 10 of another and then 10 of another, you have to figure out what makes sense for your customer base and your brand. And just know, because this is your first rodeo in manufacturing, it's okay if you only did 10, 15, 20 black bags, but you had 30 people who wanted them. That is totally fine, because guess what? Black is an easy color to redo. And then that lets you know that when you go into production, that can give you a reason to launch a second drop. If you're like, oh, y'all really love this, let me drop the black bags again. Let me drop those navy bags. Let me drop those tan bags again. People always, if they miss out, they're going to want you to drop it again. But make sure it makes sense. Make sure you have enough people wanting it, so you don't go all the way into production just for 2 more people. Now it's time for hardware confirmation. Are you getting on the hardware? Is your manufacturer taking care of the hardware? Do you have enough pieces? Just because you may be getting 50 bags done in production does not mean that you only get 50 buckles and 50 zippers. No, you want to go above and beyond. Anything can happen. So you always want to have more than not enough. All right. But who is doing the hardware? Who is producing your hardware? How long is it going to take them to produce the hardware? Are you getting hardware that is customized? Are you getting your name put on zippers? How long is it going to take them to customize the zipper tabs and to ship them to you? Are you having them shipped just to you, or are you having them shipped straight to your manufacturer? This hardware confirmation, because you have so many different pieces that are now going into this product, and now you have to manage where all of those pieces are coming from if they're not coming from the same place. Making sure all the colors, if you're doing gold, you want to make sure you have the right gold, that all the golds are going to match, especially if you're getting them from different places. This right here may be beneficial as to why you might want to just allow your manufacturer to do it, so all the metals match. You have to make sure that everything, you have enough of everything, you have the right amount of everything, the right color of everything. Yeah, you see what I mean? And you thought just giving them a picture or giving them a drawing or a product and saying, can you duplicate this and add a zipper here or add a pocket here, was tough. You got to gather all of these materials now. And you don't want your materials and your hardware to keep you from being able to go into production. A lot of people are ready to go into production. They've paid they put their 50% deposit down. They're waiting to go into production, and it's being delayed because now you got to wait for all the hardware to be created and made. You got to wait for them to send it to you from overseas. All of these things you have to account for. Now, let's talk about this leather. One thing that I found, I had it in my mind. I have two leather suppliers that I always work with, right? So I had in mind, oh, I'm just gonna go to them. So I go to my first leather person in the city, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking for these colors. They don't really have what I want in store. So he's like, oh, I have a whole book. All of these leathers come from Italy. You can order them exactly how many you want. They'll ship them to you, and then boom, bada bing, it's done, right? And then I have my other supplier that I use that is on the other side of the country, where they sent me a whole bunch of swatches. So I got all of these swatches of leather to choose from. And it's like, okay, how many hides do I need to have? This is another thing that you have to talk about with your manufacturer. If you're going into bag making or producing a bag of yours, you want to find out how many square feet I need per bag. How much? So if it takes, let's say 10 square feet to make one bag, and you're getting 10 of those, you need 100 square feet of leather, right? So you want to make sure that whoever you go through, you're going to be able to produce 100 square foot of leather in that hide, and that they have enough. All right. You have to make sure that they have enough of what you want, so that when you're going into production, you want to have more than enough. Okay. Always remember, more than enough. And then you want to see how much that's going to cost. Are you getting this wholesale? Can you get it through the manufacturer? Now, one thing I found out, the company that I use that is local, that I get my leather from, I get a discount at that place. So when I reached out to them and I was like, hey, I'm looking for these particular colors, and they're like, oh, we have a whole book. These are staples. This leather is shipped in from Italy. This is what you want to go with. It's great quality leather. This is it. I'm like, oh, how much is this going to cost me per hide? They gave me the quote. I said, ooh, that sounds a little bit much. But then I remembered early on, when we were talking about the sample and everything, my manufacturer is showing me this same exact company. So I went to my manufacturer, because I'm like, if they can get their hands on it, and depending on what the cost is, I'll just go through them. So I reached out to them. I said, hey, can you get your hands on this leather? And they're like, oh yeah, we work with them. We can get this leather for you. I'm like, bet. How much is it going to be? The quote they gave me, it was so much more. I was like, oh, I'm going to stick with my person over here. I didn't tell them that, but I'm going to stick with my person over here, because I get a discount, and it's going to be a lot less. So these things are very important for you to check, for you to know. Don't just take one person's word for it. Shop around, okay? Because this is your hard-earned money. This is a lot of money, and you want to make sure that you're getting the bang for your buck. Because don't forget, you have to have a profit. So you have to build in the profit and make sure that what you're going to sell these bags at is going to make sense at the end of the day. And if you go with a company that's overseas or that's in Italy, and they have to literally make the leather or produce the leather for you, you want to find out what the lead time is for that. Are you going to have enough time to get it done and get it to the manufacturer so that your line can go into production? All right, so that's part one. You figured out your design, you got it tight, you got it right, you figured out your colorway and what that looks like. Your hardware and your materials are all set. Now we got to figure out what's next, so then we can go into production. We are almost there. So meet me next time for part 2 on what you need so that you can go into production. Don't forget to press that subscribe button. Save this video so you can come back to it. Go ahead and like it as well. And if you know a friend that could benefit from this, share this video, friend. Share it with your friend, okay? I'll see you next time.